So here's the thing, I don't actually use flashcards in medical school. Hey, what's going on guys, and welcome back to another video. If this is the first time we're meeting, my name is Michael. I'm a second year medical student. And yeah, I don't actually use flashcards that often in medical school. I used flashcards a little bit in undergrad. I used flashcards a lot actually in my special master's program. But now that I'm in medical school and now that I'm a second year medical student, I really haven't used flashcards in about a year. Flashcards are great if you guys are looking to memorize details or small facts. And most of the time, that's really all you need is to know a fact, a small detail about something, and you should be good to go. But I feel like as a doctor and as I'm progressing through medical school, I'm needing to know more than just a single fact about something. I'm needing to know how something works and how it affects other things in the body. And flashcards really aren't that great for learning the physiology and pathophysiology of the body. I know a ton of you guys swear by Anki, you swear by flashcards, and that may work for you. But there's gonna come a point where you're not taking a multiple choice test anymore, where you're actually going to have to use your brain and figure out how this drug affects this disease or why this drug interacts with this drug causing some sort of allergic reaction. These are the types of things that flashcards really aren't going to be useful for. There seems to be a huge disconnect that I'm noticing between how we learn in medical school and how we learn and the things that we need to know as doctors. And I've noticed going through medical school that the majority of medical students, they only know what was on their flashcard. If you ask them anything other than what was on their flashcard about a particular topic, they really can't explain beyond what they knew from their flashcard. And so this kind of brings up the concern of, are we learning to do well on exams, or are we learning to be able to take care of patients in the future? Because I constantly go through this internal battle with myself because there are those two different aspects of learning in medical school. There are the things that we need to know in order to do well on our exams, but then there's also the other side of things where I need to know this in order to protect and treat my patients appropriately when the time comes. And so the issue with flashcards is it only really helps you do well on your exams. It doesn't really translate to taking care of patients because you're just memorizing simple facts that basically, once you stop using that flashcard, is probably going to be forgotten. Just think back to even your last exam that you just took. And if you're someone that used flashcards to study for that exam, how many of you can go back through those flashcards and get the majority of those correct again? I'm willing to bet that most of you can't even get half of those correct. And so you might be wondering, how do I study during medical school then? If I'm not using Anki, if I'm not using flashcards, how am I remembering the things that are being taught to me? And the best answer and the most truthful answer is repetition. And you may be asking yourself, well, isn't that flashcards? Isn't flashcards just repetition of stuff that you need to learn? And it is. But the issue with the flashcard is you're only repeating the stuff that's on your flashcard. You're not repeating all of your lecture slides, all of the material that is on your lecture slides. And so say you have two people. You have someone who creates a flashcard and memorizes what's on their card, and you have someone who repetitively looks at their slides and has a fairly good understanding of the topic on the slide. Maybe they didn't memorize all of the little details on the slide, but they can probably figure it out just by having a good understanding of what the slide says. So these two students are taking a test and they come upon a question. And in this question, it's asking about something that was on the slides. If the question isn't specifically asking what you wrote on your flashcard that you thought was high yield, do you really think you're gonna be able to answer that question? And in some cases, you probably will be able to answer the question. But if you had looked at that slide, 4 or 5 or 6 times, the entire slide, you got an overall understanding of the topic, you can recognize and maybe you even memorized a few of the facts on that slide, then I would think that you would be able to answer any question that's asked about something on that slide. So basically what I'm getting at is flashcards are great. They're useful for understanding facts and small details. I've definitely used flashcards in the past. I seldomly use them now, but what I've found has really helped me understand most of the topics in medical school is just by going through my lecture slides as many times as I can. After about 2 times going through your lecture slides, things are gonna look very familiar. You're gonna start knowing what things are. So don't be worried that if you didn't make a flashcard on it, you're not gonna know what it is, because as you go through it 2, 3, and even 4 times, it's gonna be so familiar to you that you really won't have a huge issue remembering it when it comes time to taking the exam. The final thing that I would suggest if you are not making flashcards is re-watching your lectures, because the professors are going to emphasize quite a bit of information that they want you guys to know, and that's the information that you guys should really focus your studying on. So all in all, do I think flashcards are useful? Absolutely. I mean, if you're doing well with flashcards, continue to use them. But if you find that you're not able to answer a lot of the questions because you never made a flashcard on it, then maybe try switching up your study style to this more repetitive style of going through your lecture slides. So guys, I hope this video was helpful. If it was, give it a like. Hopefully you guys have subscribed to my channel already. But if not, consider subscribing, and I hope to see you guys in my next video.